Long time ago, um, before the white man came to America, that's how long time ago. Yeah, very, very long time ago. Um, there was a tribe of Indians that lived south from Lakota country. Now, the world knows us as Sioux people, but that's not our name. Okay, that comes from a French word, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but the last five letters of this word are Sioux. Yeah, Sioux. And it starts with an N. Naddeous or something like that. I don't know how you say that. That was what the French people called us. Uh, oh, Wakia ugly yellow. I'm supposed to say that. So, first time I heard the thunders this year. Holy man, that's loud. It's just close, yeah. Oh, listen to that. The building is moving. Whoa, that was awesome. Holy crap, that's close, yeah. The building is shaking. Jeez, oh my. You know what? I don't think I've ever experienced that in this apartment. I've lived in this apartment for about 2.5 years, and I don't think I ever experienced it shaking like that before. Wow, it's a serious storm, yeah. The storm means business, and it's just appropriate for this story as well when you think about it. Okay, let me get back to explaining something really quick here. We do not call ourselves Sioux people, okay? But that's what the world knows us as. So it don't bother me. Yeah, I don't waste time arguing about, well, what should we call you? Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, that's don't you if you want to be politically correct, I'm Lakota because that's my dialect that I speak. Okay, um, but Sioux, Native American, Indian, those don't bother me because people know what that is. Yeah. So if the world knows you by a certain name, then you know they won't know who you are unless you say that name. Yeah. For example, uh, if when I'm sometimes I meet somebody here in Germany, whether it's at the store or something, and they ask me my name, and I say David Little Elk, and they say, really, that's really your last name? And I say, yeah. I said, I'm an Indian. I said, oh, because see, German and Indianer, yeah. So they know when I say I'm an Indian, they know where what kind of person I am. And then if they're smart, then sometimes they'll say, what tribe do you come from? And then if I say Lakota, they don't know. Most of the time, they don't know what that is. But if I say Sioux, then they know. Ah, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse. Yeah, they know that. Dances with Wolves, Thunderheart. See what I mean? They know who you are when you use a name that they know. And that don't bother me. Okay? That doesn't bother me. So, um, but to be technical, we don't call ourselves Sioux because that's a French word. Okay? There were no French people at that time in our territory. We called ourselves Ocheti Shakoni. This is the seven council fires. This there are seven groups in this nation. Yeah? And those seven groups divide into three. Okay, and each group speaks a different dialect. Okay, so remember, there's seven campfires, but from that seven, they go into three groups. Now let me explain. Four of the seven speak the Dakota dialect. Yeah, four of the seven speak Dakota dialect. Two of the seven speak the Nakota dialect, and the remaining group speaks the Lakota dialect. So we have three dialects: Dakota, Nakota, and Lakota. Okay? Now remember, Ocheti Shakui, that's seven groups. Four speak Dakota, two speak Nakota, and the last one speaks Lakota. All right? So the four that are Dakota, this is Wahpekute, Wahpetuan, Sisituan, and Mediwakantuan. Those are the four in the D speakers, yeah, the Dakota dialect. The Nakota people are, what are they called? Ihanktuan and Ihanktuan, Ihanktuana, no, Ihanktuani, I think that's what they're called. Ihanktuan and Ihanktuani. Very similar names. Okay? Those are the two Dakota dialects. And the last group is Tituan. Yeah, this is the group that speaks Lakota. So the seven names, yeah, Dakota people are Mediwakantuan, Wahpekute, Wahpetuan, and Sisituan. The Nakota people are Ihanktuan and Ihanktuani. The Lakota people are Tituan. These are the seven groups. Now, each one of these seven breaks down again into subgroups. So, for example, if we just focus on the Lakota group, remember that's Tituan. Okay, so Tituan breaks down into seven again. This is Oglala, Sicangu, Itazipco, Hunkpapa, Ohenupa, Sihasapa, and which one am I missing? Hohoju. Yeah, those are the seven uh, Titua people. Okay, so you see, it's really a big organization, a big nation. Ocheti Shakoni. It's huge. Okay, our territory was in the areas of what today is Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, parts of Nebraska, all of South Dakota, all of North Dakota, parts of Montana, parts of Wyoming, and parts of Manitoba, parts of Saskatchewan, and the Canada that's above Minnesota and Wisconsin. That whole area, this was Ocheti Shakoni. This was our country. We had a big country. Okay, we were a very big nation many years ago. Okay, now below us, I mean not below us, to the south of us was a small tribe, and I don't know what they call themselves, but today people know them as now I forgot the name. Shoot. Let me Google this really fast because I want you to know who this tribe is. We call them Palani, yeah? That's a Lakota word. You know them as Pawnee, okay? Now, they probably have a different name in their language, yeah? Um, but in Lakota, these are Palani. Yeah, this is a these are enemy tribe. Okay, well, there was a small Dakota group that lived about um, where would this be? Maybe about um, like where Omaha, Nebraska is today. In that area, there used to that's a Dakota country. Um, and there was a small Dakota group. Now, the Dakota people mainly are agricultural. Okay, they live, near the Mississippi and Missouri rivers, and the land there is really good for farming. So they farmed corn. Yeah, they farmed corn in that area, and they were also fishermen. Yeah, so the Dakota people are known for either growing corn or for fishing. This is their society. Okay, and yes, they are warriors. Yeah, they do have warrior societies as well, but they're small. Okay, I mean not. I don't mean in height. I mean in population. Yeah, there's not. They're a smaller group population wise, and this Pawnee group, one day they came and invaded this Dakota group, and they did something really weird. The Pawnee people stole all the children and the women, except the old women. They only took the young women, and they killed a lot of the men. Yeah, and of course they killed old people too. But they stole the women and they stole the children. Now you might think, okay, yeah, but that's what tribes did. Well, yeah, that's true. But the Pawnee were worse. What the Pawnee were doing, see that remember, they were a small tribe and they wanted to become big. Yeah, they wanted to overthrow the Ochetishakui. Yeah, this was their plan. They wanted to overthrow the Ocheti Shakui, and so what they did was they developed this belief system that if they sacrifice babies from the enemy tribes, that this would give them power over their enemies. Okay, this is the way the Pawnee were thinking. So this is why they stole children. So the Pawnee would attack other tribes too. Yeah, the Sac and Fox and the Oto and all these other Indians. They would attack them too, and they did the same thing. They would steal the children and the women. And what they did was they offered the children as human sacrifice to their god or whatever. And they believe that when they do this, they will get more power and will be able to defeat the Ocheti Shakoni. This was their belief. Yeah, so they were invading small tribes all up and down the Midwest. Yeah, from Minnesota to Oklahoma. Yeah, all up and down the Midwest, they would attack small tribes and they would steal the women and then they would steal the babies, the children, and they would burn the children alive. They would put the children in the fire until that child died. And they believed this would give them power over others. So they were human sacrificing children from other tribes. Now, the women, what they did with the women is they would keep them like sex slaves. They wanted as many women as possible because they were using the women like a baby factory. So these women would be getting raped all day long so that for sure they'll get pregnant. As soon as the woman has the baby, the men take that baby and they burn it. They have a human sacrifice to their god. So the when they stole the women, it was not to marry them. No, the woman was like a baby factory, so that she could have more babies for the Pawnee to then sacrifice to their gods. So the women were like baby machines. Yeah. So when they came to the Dakota people, they did that too. Yeah, they took a lot of the Dakota women, like I said, they took Dakota children and they burned those children alive. Human sacrifice. And then these Dakota women were tied down inside teepees while the men would rape them all day long. Yeah, they stand in line and rape them. So they get pregnant, and then 9 months later, when they have babies, then they have more human sacrifice. It's really sick, but that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. And so when they did this to the Dakota people, some old women managed to escape. Now remember, people had not come yet. They had not arrived here. So there's no horses. Everything was done on foot. Yeah? There were no horses yet. So this one old woman, she, they thought she pretended to be dead, so they would leave her alone. And then when they left, when these Pawnee left with the Dakota women and children, this this Dakota woman, she was an old lady, but she managed to, they eat healthy food, so they're strong. Yeah, so she ran to the Lakota people because the Lakota group is a warrior society. So she came to the Lakota group and she told them what happened. And so the 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 tribal councils assembled immediately and they said, we need to get them women back, and we need to do something about these Pawnee, that they could do it again. They're doing it right now, and we have to teach them a lesson so that they never do this again. Yeah, because if they do it once in the future, they might do it again, and they might be sneakier. They might be more deceptive the next time. So we have to make sure there is no next time. So they said, okay, let's get ready. Excuse me. So they sent the word to the other Lakota groups, because remember, there's 7 Lakota groups. All right. So they sent the word to the other groups, and they said, we have to assemble. We gotta take care of this problem. So they said, okay. So a huge group of Lakota warriors assembled, and they went towards the Pawnee people. And when they went there, they sensed, they kind of scouted the area around it, and then they saw the women in the teepees, the Dakota women in the teepees were being raped. They saw Pawnee men raped. They were standing in line, taking turns raping these women. At the same time, they saw skeletons, charred baby skeletons near the fire pits, a bunch of them. And so they knew they were they were killing probably hundreds of babies from Indians from other tribes. And so they said, okay, we have to stop the Pawnee. Yeah, it has to be for good. So they attacked. Yeah, they attacked the Pawnee, and when the Pawnee realized this was a Lakota group, they got scared. And in the Lakota societies, there's four young men warrior societies. The most powerful one is called Kanri Yuha. Yeah. When you see a skunk, what's your first impression? Get the hell out of there. That is how a Kanri Yuha warrior is. That's how fierce they are. That when if you're an enemy and you see a Kanri Yuha warrior, you get the hell out of there because you're gonna die. Because the Kanri Yuha warriors, they have a certain way of fighting. It's like a special way of fighting, and it's extremely fast and it's vicious. So all these Kanri Yuha warriors were at Pawnee men came. They early in the morning they saw these Kanri Yuha warriors charging into their camp. They got scared and they ran. They ran and ran and ran, and the Kanri Yuha warriors were killing them as they caught up to them. Yeah, they would catch a Pawnee guy and kill him, and they continue and get the next one. And they were running and running. They were running south, and they got to near Texas, and they pleaded to the Comanche. See, the Comanche people are another very very powerful tribe. Yeah. So the Pawnee were pleading to the Comanche people, help us. The Lakota people invaded us. They attacked us in the morning, and the Comanche leaders they said, you know, they knew that the Lakota Kanri Yuha warriors were coming. So the Comanche said, "This is your war." Yeah. So the Comanche just stepped back. So the Kanri Yuha warriors started coming in, and the Comanches got out of the way. Now the Pawnees were just very few of them. Now they're getting close to Mexico, and so they stopped and they were surrendering. And the way they talk to each other is through sign language, yeah, with the hands. And the Pawnees were saying, they were saying they surrender, they'll never do this again. And the Kanriuha warriors, they didn't want to listen though. They kept killing them. Yeah, they kept killing the Pawnee people. So finally, the other Lakota warriors came. The other warrior societies caught up. They were still behind, so they caught up, and then they persuaded the Kanriuha warriors to stop, and they said, "Let's hear what they have to say." So by this time, the Pawnee tribe is incredibly small, very very small, because most of them were killed. And then this leader, the one that was still alive from the Pawnee, he said, "We'll never do this again." And these Lakota guys, they said, "Okay, we'll let you live, but if you do this one more time, we're going to exterminate you. We're going to wipe you off the face of the earth." Yeah. So you make this agreement now. You never do this again because we promise you we will kill all of you. There will be no Pawnee on this earth. You you violate your mother. You violate your mother earth. Look at what you did to these children. How could you do that to a child? It doesn't matter what tribe the child comes from. How could you do that to a baby? And look at the women that you raped. All these women from these different tribes, you raped them just so they can have babies, and then you can burn the baby. What kind of human does that? Even animals are better than you. You violate the earth. You went against the earth. You should not be allowed to live. That's what they said to the Pawnee. So the Pawnee were shaking and they said, yes, yes, we promise. We'll never do this again. So the Lakota leader said, we say it one more time. We're going to say it 4 times. If you do this again, we will kill all of you. There will be no Pawnee ever again. They said that 4 times because that's a Lakota concept. You say when it's really important, you say it 4 times to make sure that person understands what you're saying. So you see, not all Indians are good. Not all Indians worship Mother Earth. This tribe violated the earth by violating women in a grotesque way. And then when the children were born, they burned the children alive. There's your ISIS. There's your Native American ISIS. Happened. This is a true story. And when we saw this record, yeah, and the written record from the guy who wrote this story, we were like, oh my God! I thought all Indians were good, no matter where you come from. Indians are supposed to be good. See, I was 15 years old. I was a teenager. So I was thinking, I was shocked. I was thinking, why? Indians are supposed to be good. Yes, we fought against each other, but Indians are supposed to be good. How could this tribe do this? To human sacrifice babies from other tribes. My God. I think that was probably the most wicked thing I ever heard of at that time in my life. Yeah? To me, that was worse than Wounded Knee Massacre. Because this was Indians against Indians. So this is the reason why today the Pawnee people are a very small tribe. They used to be bigger, but this is the reason why. And people, I'm not the only one that knows this story. This story has to be remembered. That's why I learned it. Yeah, it has to be remembered because there was a promise in this story. Yeah, there was a vow made by the Pawnees, and that cannot be forgotten. Yeah, that if they ever do this again, then you see, Lakota people have to keep their word too. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see? It was not peace, love, and harmony on the prairie. It was war. It was terrorism. We had it too. Yeah? That's why I was saying earlier that a lot of non-native people, they put Native Americans on the pedestal like we're the perfect people, like we have all the answers to the questions in the universe, and that all Indians get along with each other, that all Indians are at peace with each other. That is total bullshit. That's fantasy land. See, this is a true story. This really did happen. So when I heard the story, I I I was not the same for about 3 4 days. Yeah, I was really shocked, and it's like, my God, they did that to babies. They burned the babies and the children alive. Now today there's some Pawnee people that they don't tell that part. They just say, "Yeah, well, everybody thinks Lakota people are the super duper wonderful people, but there's a record here that says that at this one time and blah 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 that the Lakota people came and totally invaded the Pawnee people and for no reason at all." That's a lie. There is a reason. Yeah. The reason was the Pawnee were humans sacrificing children and babies from other tribes. That was the reason. That had to be stopped. So you see, there was terrorism among Native Americans before the white people came. So that's what whenever I one of these terrorist attacks happen, I always remember this story. Yeah, because a lot of native racists, they like to say, "Well, see, that's how white people are. That's how the Muslims are. That's how that Indians are not like that. Indians are, we're people of the earth and we love the earth," and that's total bullshit. Yes, it did occur. Yeah, there was terrorism in Native America hundreds and thousands of years before white people came. That is a fact. Okay, so it's a very vicious story. It's a vicious story, but it is a true story, and it is it like I said, it shows you that terrorism, it doesn't know skin color. Yeah, terrorism, it doesn't know spirituality. It doesn't know language. Yeah, it exists everywhere, even in America. I should say in North America. It even existed in North America before white people came. That's just something I wanted to address here. Okay. All right. Um, so just to kind of tie that topic up. Uh, okay. So just to uh, finish off the topic, I mean, the story, like I said, it's a very vicious story, and it does explain, that there was terrorism among native people before white people came. Yeah, it did happen. And then you have to ask yourself why? How did it happen? Yeah? What is the reason for that? Well, this is where it really pays to understand um, what I was talking about at the beginning of the show when I was saying, what is duality, and you know, look at the things that it creates. Yeah. And then, so when you look at the actions of the Pawnee Indians and what they were doing, they were trying to rise above all native people. So it's kind of like they were like Nazis when you think about it. They wanted to overthrow all native people. So you see, it's what creates that idea? Yeah, what creates that idea to want to do that? So that shows you what I was talking about. This thing called duality that existed among native people too. Like I said, it's not a white man thing. A lot of people think, oh, it's the white man, it's the Washichu. No, it's not. This way of thinking, of trying to, be on top of others, like king of the hill, this this thinking is not a white man's way of thinking. Because look at the story I told you. The Pawnees were doing the same thing, and they're not white people. So duality existed among natives too. It did not come from Europe. It did not come from the white man. It was already here. This is the reason why we have Iktomi stories, because Iktomi stories teach us about that, about duality and what happens. Yeah, and if we don't learn from it, we fall victim to it. So it's not about destroying duality. It's about learning how it works so you can deal with it effectively. Duality is kind of like an energy. An energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be transformed into something else. That's why we need to know what duality is. So, in some cases, we can transform it. Some cases, we can just learn from it. Some cases, it might learn from us, and then it neutralizes. It loses its duality. It transforms into something better. It's possible. Now, apply that thinking to these terrorist attacks. The reason why you're seeing these things is because that's the way the earth is. That's the way the people are. Imagine it like this. Imagine you're growing a garden of flowers. Okay? Well, I like to eat, so let's say vegetables. Imagine you're making a garden of vegetables. And you have to make sure the ground is good. Yeah, every day you have to walk through your garden and make sure everything is okay. If there's bugs on it or something, and then you do something about that. Yeah, you're tending your garden. You're taking care of your garden so your garden will produce good food. But what if you don't tend the garden? What if you just put your stuff there and then you say, okay, I'm gonna let it go, and yeah, it'll rain and so forth, and then I'll come back in a month and see if there's anything ready to eat. So you don't, if when you don't take care of the garden, all kinds of things could happen. You might get some kind of some parts of the garden might become infected with some kind of a disease because of a certain bug or something like that. And then what ends up happening is that the some of the vegetables die. They go bad because you did not tend it. When you have a garden, you have to go out there every day. You have to tend it. You have to take care of it because it's alive. Yeah? Well, that's how the earth is too. If we do not tend the garden, then these bad things start popping up. Yeah? And when we don't tend the garden, it gets out of control. Next thing you know, strange religions are being created. And then people are going to war against each other because of that. Where we went wrong is we did not tend the garden. This has nothing to do with the religion. It has to do with us not being personally responsible. We just sit back and do nothing. Now, how can you tend the garden? Well, go do something nice for somebody. That's a start. Yeah, walk around your neighborhood and see what's going on, and you looks like you see a situation that could use your help, then go over there and offer your assistance and do whatever you can do. When you do that, people feel good. Then that person might do that to somebody else too. Some people call that paying it forward. Yeah? This is how you tend the garden, by living a healthy life and helping others where you can. And when you need help, then you ask for help. That's how you tend the garden. When you do this, you're spreading a healthy energy all over the place. It's not going to wipe every bad thing out, but it's going to make a huge difference. Yeah? So you take care of the garden. The garden is all people. So don't pay attention to their skin color or their religion, or, just if they need help, you offer them help. If if you need help, ask them for help. I meant to say, if they need help, then offer them help. Don't help them just because they're the same religion as you, because when you do that, you're a racist. And then that's not tending the garden. The garden will become spoiled. The dirt will go bad. When you only help people who are the same skin color as you, the same religion as you, you're violating the earth when you think like that. So we can reduce it. We have that power. Yeah, we have that power. So you go out there and just do something nice. That's where you begin. Then do these other things that I was talking about at the beginning of the show, coming to peace with your past, and learning from it and making the best of it, things like that. All of this gives you personal power so you can take care of the garden. You can take care of the earth. because you're taking care of yourself and you're sending out enormous power. And that does reduce the rugged things that happen. It does reduce it, yeah? That is true. You can make a difference. That's what I'm saying. So when these things happen, like what happened last night in England, in Manchester, England, we have to get all the emotions out, whether it's to cry or to get angry or whatever. You do that in a constructive way. That means no revenge, yeah, just to get do something, that's constructive so the energy comes out. Then you bring your heart and your mind in it again, and then you can say, how can I do something nice for somebody? This is how you take care of the garden. And you don't focus on, the person's skin color or their religion, because in the beginning there was no religion. There was just humans. That's what we have to remember. The religion gets in the way, unfortunately. That's why I said don't pay attention to anybody's religion. Just go out there and be a healthy person. You will influence it, and others are going to feel it, and that might make them want to do that too. That can create a huge wave. Then you're really doing something incredible. This is how we deal with it.